And if it happened to me, it could definitely happen to you.
And it could happen to you. Let's prove it now. You're driving on a local road when something on the radio catches your attention. Now count 1001, 1002, 1003. You won't have to face a camel on the highway every day, but as you just saw, being distracted for even 3 seconds is long enough for you to miss something you really need to see on the road.
To help prevent collisions, you have to constantly scan the road looking for anything that could represent trouble for you. We're going to put you in the driver's seat again to see how well you can identify potential driving risks. Let's cruise down one of the most challenging roads in America, a typical residential street, and see how many hazards you can identify. How many risks did you spot? I counted 8. Let's go back and see them. First, watch out for the kids because they're watching out for the ball. Hey, miss spotting that bike and your car may not miss it. Yeah, a person who stopped a car is probably about to get out, so look out. You're right, he didn't signal, but a car at an intersection is going somewhere. Better be ready for any direction. What's faster than the speeding bullet? An unleashed dog. Okay, they're thinking lawnmower. It's up to you to think safety. And you need to watch out for pedestrians, even if they're not watching out for you. Finally, if the turn indicator's on, someone's probably going to turn. You're not likely to face this many risks at once, but chances are you'll face at least one in a short trip. So don't be caught short. Pay attention.
Hi, I'm Grant Show. Timing is everything for an actor. It's also very important for new drivers. Did you know it takes a new driver 5 years to reach the performance level of the general driving public? Remember, you have to learn to walk before you can run, so if you're inexperienced, learn the rules of the road. Know exactly what you're doing when you get behind the wheel. Take it all in before you try to take it to the limit.
Those of us who live in Southern California are no strangers to flooded roadways. This has been a bumper year for snowfall and rainstorms all across the country, causing widespread flooding from coast to coast. When that happens, we realize that every driver needs to know how to cope with flooding, no matter what the location. Now, it's your turn. You're driving in a rainstorm. The rain has suddenly turned into a torrential downpour. Water is rushing down the road, getting deeper by the second. What is your best course of action? A, speed up and try to drive to higher ground quickly. B, slow down and drive through the water cautiously. C, pull over slowly, stop, and stay in the car until help arrives. D, pull over slowly, stop, get out of the car, and get to higher ground. The answer here is D. Get out of the car and seek higher ground. You should never attempt to drive through pools of standing water on the road because they could be deeper than they appear. Floods can erode roadways or actually displace a section of a bridge. These hazards may not be visible under the floodwater. Most cars will float for a short period, but they can be quickly swept away, and you don't want to be trapped inside.
Could this happen to you? You bet. Let's go to San Antonio, Texas, where the flat terrain combined with sudden heavy rains create a dangerous flood potential.
I'm Charles Lovett of San Antonio, Texas, and right here on this spot, I made a terrible error in judgment that nearly cost my son and myself our lives. It had been raining heavily for a couple of hours when I came over this hill. I could see that the creek was flooding across the road, but nothing that I didn't think I could handle in a full-size pickup. I was terribly wrong. I didn't get halfway across when the water literally stopped me dead in my tracks. The force of the water was totally amazing. It lifted up the pickup and threw it like a toy into the creek. We got pushed down about 100, 120 yards before anybody could get to us and offer us any kind of assistance to get out of the truck. It happened to me. It could happen to you.
If you had to drive through a flood, a motorcycle would probably not be your first choice of vehicle. Even in good weather, out of every 100 vehicles on the road, only 3 are motorcycles. But motorists still need to learn how to share the road with motorcycles, and the place to begin is by becoming aware when motorcycles are there. To test your motorcycle IQ, let's go to Miami, Florida, where year-round balmy weather has created a haven for motorcyclists, but a challenge for everyone else driving with them. Which of these statements about motorcycles is true? A, a car doesn't need to change lanes to pass a motorcycle. B, motorcyclists should ride with their headlight on during the day. C, motorcycles must always yield the right-of-way to cars. D, the safe following distance behind a motorcycle is 2 cycle lengths. The answer is B. Because their vehicles are less visible than cars, motorcyclists should always ride with the headlight on. A motorcycle's small size makes it more difficult to spot in traffic, so motorists must actively look for motorcycles in changing traffic conditions. Motorcycles have the same rights and must adhere to the same rules on the road as cars. When following a motorcycle, automobile drivers should follow at the same distance as they would follow a car.
Safety becomes an even bigger issue when you're sharing the road with one of these babies. School buses transport about 22 million students every day. Let's go back to Seattle for this important question. Driving on a 2-lane undivided road, you see a school bus approaching from the opposite direction. As you get closer, the bus stops and you see its red lights flashing. Should you A, slow down and pass the bus carefully, B, come to a complete stop, then drive on slowly, C, stop and wait to go until the lights are no longer flashing or the bus is moving again, D, disregard the flashing lights because the bus is on the opposite side of the road? The answer is C. If you're on an undivided road, you must stop and wait until the lights are no longer flashing or the bus is moving again, regardless of what side of the road the bus is on. There could be children you can't see getting out and walking around the blind side of the bus. If you are on a divided road, you still must stop if the bus is on your side of the road. It is not necessary to stop if the school bus is across the median in the opposite lane. But you should still drive carefully because there are children around. Keep your eyes wide open and stay alert for our next challenging question. We'll be back.
Next, Deidre Hall, Karen Parsons, and Barbara Mandrell. General Motors' presentation of the Ultimate Driving Challenge continues.
Concentrating on what you're doing is the key to safe driving. If you don't pay attention, you can sometimes drift off the road even when you're awake. With that in mind, here's your next question. You're driving on a 2-lane highway when your right wheels drift off onto the unpaved shoulder of the road. What is the first course of action you should take to correct the situation? A, turn the steering wheel immediately to the left. B, hold the steering wheel firmly and ease off the accelerator. C, stop as quickly as possible. D, move your left wheels onto the shoulder and then quickly turn back onto the road. The answer is B. Hold the steering wheel firmly and ease off the accelerator. Then, if there is nothing in the way, steer your vehicle so it straddles the edge of the pavement. Next, turn the steering wheel up to 1/4 turn left until the front tire contacts the pavement edge. Then turn the steering wheel to go straight down the roadway. If the level of the shoulder is only slightly below the pavement, recovery is fairly easy. Recovery can be more difficult if the shoulder appears to be about 4 inches or more below the pavement. Try to follow the same procedures, but if the right front tire scrubs against the side of the pavement, do not steer more sharply to the left. If you do, the vehicle may jump back onto the road, crossing over into oncoming traffic. Instead, ease off the accelerator and steering input, straddle the pavement once more, then try again.
Sometimes what we think are the simplest driving decisions turn out to be the most challenging. For instance, you know how to make a left turn, don't you? Why don't we find out? You're pulling out of a business driveway and want to make a left turn onto a busy street. There is a special center lane for making left-hand turns. The traffic finally clears in the direction closest to you. You may turn into the center lane from the driveway, but may not drive down that lane while trying to merge. True or false? True. While it is legal to make a left turn into the special center lane, you must wait there with your right turn signal on for traffic to clear on the right before you complete your turn. When doing this, use great caution, as another car could enter that lane with the intention of making a left turn. It is not legal to drive in a shared left turn lane, and it is not safe.
I'm Deidre Hall. It took me a long time to become a parent. Now that I have David Atticus, I'm going to keep him for a long time. So next to my son, my most important possession is my child's car safety seat, which brings us to the next test question. Children under 4 years of age should always be restrained in a child's safety seat except A, when you can fit the child in your safety belt while holding him. B, while feeding a baby. C, when you're bringing a newborn baby home from the hospital for the very first time. D, there are no exceptions. The answer is D. Infants and young children should always be secured in child safety seats. All 50 states legally require this for children generally up to the age of 4. Motor vehicle accidents are the #1 killer of children up to the age of 5. Consider this. A 15-pound baby can generate a sudden force greater than 300 pounds in a crash occurring at only 30 miles an hour. Even a strong adult wearing a safety belt couldn't keep hold of the baby then. The baby would be hurled into the dashboard or the windshield. If the adult were not wearing a safety belt, both adult and baby would be thrown forward. Children should always be protected with child safety restraints. Be sure to use the proper type of seat for your child and follow the manufacturer's installation instructions. A seat that's installed incorrectly is worthless. Check your owner's manual for complete details.
The owner's manual. Now, there's a book I'll bet most of you have and have never read. I'm Karen Parsons, and when I'm not working on Fresh Prince, I like to read. And this book is a must for any driver. The owner's manual comes with every new car. Now, it's not just a bunch of operating procedures and service schedules. It's filled with general driving tips, roadway information. This one even tells you how to clean your CDs. Now, all I need is a disc player in my car. So if you're looking for a good read, it's as close as your glove compartment and should be on everyone's bestsellers list. The Owner's Manual.
Your next question deals with a situation we hope you never encounter, the deadliest of all collisions. It's early morning and you're driving down a 2-lane highway. In the distance, you see a car approaching in your lane at high speed. You think the driver might be drunk or asleep. You frantically honk your horn, but the car does not move out of your lane. A head-on collision appears imminent. What is your best course of action? A, slow down and carefully move to the left. B, slow down and pull off to the right. C, stop as quickly as possible and stay in your lane, waiting for the other car to react and move back into its proper lane. D, turn hard to the left so the oncoming vehicle will strike the side of your car instead of hitting it head-on. The answer is B. First, reduce your speed as much as possible and wait as long as possible to pull out of your lane. Then, pull as far to the right as you can. If necessary, drive clear off the road. If you have to hit something, aim for something soft such as shrubbery. Going off the road is not without risk. There is a possibility you may be injured. But in most cases, any choice is better than a head-on collision where the risk of serious injury is greater. So move to the right.
Here's a driver who couldn't avoid a head-on collision. Let's go to Norfolk, Virginia, where an ordinary drive turned into an extraordinary challenge.
My name is Denise Rust from Norfolk, Virginia. I'm a registered nurse. I was driving home from work, and right before I reached the Rappahannock River Bridge, an oncoming car swerved into my lane and hit me head-on. I was going 55 miles an hour. The crash happened so fast I didn't have time to react, and I had 37 broken bones. I believe I'm alive because I was wearing my safety belt and was in a car equipped with an airbag. You just never know what the other driver's going to do. It happened to me. It could happen to you.
In 1999, all new cars will have to come equipped with driver and passenger side airbags. That's a federal law.
The government knows about airbags, but how much do you know? Let's find out. Our last question takes us to Detroit, Michigan. These days, the Motor City makes more than just automobiles. It also manufactures airbags.
You're driving a car equipped with an airbag. In which of the following situations should you expect your airbag to deploy? There may be more than one answer. A, your car is rear-ended by another car at about 20 miles per hour. B, you misjudge your stopping distance and your car runs into a stopped car at around 10 miles per hour. C, your car is sideswiped by another car at about 25 miles per hour. D, without warning, another car runs a stop sign. Your car strikes the side of the other car at 35 miles per hour. The answer is D. Airbags supplement the safety belt and are designed to inflate in moderate and severe frontal or near frontal collisions only. When used in combination with safety belts, airbags further reduce the risk of fatality in frontal or near frontal crashes. Always wear a safety belt, even if you have a car that is equipped with an airbag. Safety belts provide protection in all types of crashes, not just head-on crashes.
Hello, I'm Barbara Mandrell. Whoever said there was an exception to every rule was wrong. I know from experience. Here's one rule you should always follow. Wear your safety belt. Some people think their chances of surviving a collision increase if they're thrown from the car. Those people are mistaken. The risk of being injured or killed is 25 times greater if you're thrown from your car. Safety belts increase your chance of remaining conscious and unhurt in any crash. If you need to get out of your car quickly, you need to be conscious to do that. No matter how brief you drive, you must buckle up. Most collisions happen within 25 miles of your home at speeds under 40 miles an hour. There's no excuse for not using your safety belt.
The Ultimate Driving Challenge, brought to you by General Motors, will continue.
Our thanks to the many organizations who assisted us in designing this program.
How did you do on tonight's test? If you got almost everything right, congratulations, you're a safe driver. We'd all be willing to share the road with you.
Well, if you didn't score that well, at least you now have a better idea of what you need to do. Stay alert, look ahead, and be ready for emergencies before they happen. We want this program to encourage you to recognize and think about possible alternative actions you can take to help avoid personal injury or damage to your car. I know it's been a great education for me, and it's been fun working with you.
It's been terrific working with you, Paula.
Thanks.
And with all of you, too. And remember, good driving not only protects you, it makes the road safer for everyone.
Good night.
Good night.